Let's say hello to Brett. And Brett is from Fullerton, California, and he writes, Eddie, I think Ace is lying about Kiss because you are media. What Brett is referring to is Kiss has said publicly that they have reached out to all people who were once in Kiss for potentially being a part of the farewell tour or farewell shows. And I told you that Ace told me that that is not the case. Look, I'll ask Ace point blank on Thursday. Listen to the LA Invasion. I'll ask him again. You can tell me if you think he's lying or not. Now, here's the thing. I do understand that people who I am very close with will throw some misdirection out there or not answer me or lie, quite frankly, because they're worried about me, even though I may be friends with them, being media. Most of people that I know in major rock bands will tell me something, and I never breach this. They'll say to me, yeah, here's what's going on, but you can't say it. It's off the record. And if you tell me it's off the record, I'll never bring it up on the air until it's cool to do. Trust me when I say, folks, I know a lot of things that are going on that I do not bring up or address on this show because I can't do it honestly right now because it hasn't been announced yet or it's off the record, the information that I have. So I never breach that confidence if I can help it. So what Brett is assuming is that Ace, is just saying that and has something cooking because I'm not able to, because he's worried that I would go public with it and blow it up. But I don't believe that to be the case because he would have just pulled me aside and said, look, here's what's going on, but you can't say anything. And of course I never would. Do I think that Kiss in some way, shape, or form will try to make a deal with Ace and or Peter for the final show? The thing in New York they're talking about now in 2021? Yes. I think they're going to need to if they want to make that an event beyond what they've been doing for the last couple of years. But this premise that they float out there and have since day one of like, well, those guys are welcome to come play anytime is absolutely laughably ludicrous. Because as I've said many times on this show, you can't expect Ace and Peter to just knock on the backstage door. Hey, guys, can I come in? Come on. We're not stupid. Nobody is stupid. You know that if you're going to do something like that, you need to make a deal and an arrangement and set it up and rehearse it and plan it. And I think those things will happen and will have to happen if they want to do better business and bigger business, especially for a final splash, allegedly last ever show. But I refuse to believe anybody is ever fully done and retired anymore. And the further proof of that is coming very, very soon. God. The things I could say. Ken in Louisiana. Ken writes, Eddie, thanks for your recent top 20 on Black Sabbath. I didn't submit a list, but it was fascinating to listen to. I would make the argument that Black Sabbath was a heavy metal band with Ozzy, but a hard rock band with Dio. Both equally as amazing, but a completely different sound. Do you agree or disagree with that assessment? Thanks, as always, Ken in Louisiana. Interesting, Ken. I give you that. But then again, maybe not. I mean, yes, I will agree. I completely agree with you that different band to some degree. But one being heavy metal, one being hard rock, no, I think direction-wise they were all pretty much in the same pocket. I mean, the thing with Sabbath with Ozzy is it was so early. You're talking early 70s. People had never heard anything like that before. It was like the birth of metal. By the time Dio joined 10 years later, metal had been way more established and people were used to hearing heavier music like that. So that's why the Dio era might have been viewed to you as being a little more hard rock oriented versus metal oriented. But both eras of the band still have the gargantuan guitar riffs. Very, very different. Very, very different vocals, obviously, and different melodies, different songwriting. So why wouldn't it be? But I think in terms of heaviness, both eras had their diversity and their heavy moments and their softer moments and their bluesy moments. So I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that absolutely different directions in terms of melody, songwriting. Remember, in the Ozzy era, Geezer Butler wrote the lyrics. The Dio era, Ronnie did. So you're going to get different lyrics, different melody, different direction right then and there, but you still have the gargantuan riffs of Tony Iommi, the incredible Geezer Butler, and, of course, Bill Ward or Vinny Appice drums. So, yeah, there's going to be some differences, but I would think sonically, to me, they're both pretty equal, although musically, certainly different for the reasons I stated. Ed, you got any news you want to hit us with before we get into the next hour?
I have a couple of things. I actually have 2 points to note on the stadium tour. The first is, as I mentioned earlier in the hour, the August 18th date at Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin has become the fastest sellout ever in that venue's history after tickets went on sale on Friday.
I was told the softest show, meaning the least sold, is the first date in South Florida. Now, I don't know if that's still correct or not, but someone told me that they were looking over the Ticketmaster numbers and all that. That does not surprise me at all. South Florida is notoriously weak when it comes to selling rock.
Which is ironic because that is one of the 2 major football stadiums they are playing.
Yeah, well, you can do stuff. Look, we all know in all these buildings, if there's a soft show, there's a lot you can do about it. In any venue, you can give tickets away, you can pull stages up, you can curtain things. You can always make it look respectable. But South Florida is very, very tough for selling rock shows. It always has been. And a lot of that's to do with the weather. People are always going outside and doing things, boating, whatever. They're also in South Florida is not a rock radio station per se. There is a classic rock radio station that plays a very tightly constricted conservative playlist. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Hotel California into Stairway to Heaven over and over again for the most part. There's that, but there isn't necessarily radio stations that are playing hard rock or busting into, Motley Crue's Louder Than Hell anytime soon.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know that because I've tried to get my own syndicated show on there countless times, and it's so rigidly, don't even get me started with that. Just some of the small thinking of some of these FM program directors that just don't get what a specialty show is and can do. But anyway, there's not a lot of support locally for our kind of music in that market.
Also to note about the stadium tour, crew manager Alan Kovac reiterated to Fox Business on TV that the success of the Motley Crue biopic was the impetus for the band touring again. He also says in regards to the band getting ready physically for the tour, and I quote, "Some of them are working with a trainer, some of them are working with a nutritionist to make themselves the best they can be."
Well, that's not surprising, and I'm sure a lot of people are pointing that squarely at Vince Neil, who is the front man of the band. And I think, look, it's not unusual for that to happen with bands that have been inactive to get ready to tour. In 96, when Kiss reunited for the original lineup, all those guys went through boot camps, musically, physically, cosmetically. A lot of them had stuff done cosmetically. I mean, even though they wear makeup, they did. So that's not unusual. I mean, that's kind of standard operating procedure if you're not active for a long time. It's like somebody getting ready to go into a boxing ring or get back into sports or something like that. It's a regimen. So that's pretty much standard practice. That shouldn't be all that unusual. The other thing I heard is every one of these bands is doing their own VIP upcharge deals, and it's insane what's being offered.
Oh, I'll bet.
And the prices that they are charging, as you can imagine. But again, you don't have to buy it if you don't like it. It's there if you want it.